What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the MC Show. It is your boy MC. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any and all help would be greatly appreciated. Share this video with your friends, family, even complete strangers. Don't be afraid to just walk up on a guy and be like, "Yo, you watched last listen to the MC Show?" And then the stranger's like, "Nah, I don't." Don't be afraid to just, hey, bruh, hey, you know what I'm saying? Don't make me have to, you know what I'm saying, cut you a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen to the MC Show, bro. Go subscribe. Make sure they do it in front of your face too. Sorry, I'm getting a little violent. It's 11 p.m. I'm tired. Free agency has started. We have a bunch of crazy breaking news to go over. We have some small moves to go over, but we won't really go over. We're gonna just like breeze past it for real. But there's 4/5 teams really that we're gonna talk about in more length than others. We have to start with the Milwaukee Bucks doing some shocking moves today. The Milwaukee Bucks are waiving Damian Lillard. They are waiving and stretching his contract. Essentially, he's going to be getting paid $22 million over the next 5 years. Damian Lillard was old. What was it? He was 2 year, 113, I believe, million dollars for the next couple of seasons. Obviously, tearing his Achilles, unfortunately, in Game 4 of the first round against Indiana. He unfortunately won't be playing next season. He's real close to turning 35. So we won't see Damian Lillard until he's 36 years old. And the last time we saw him, he was 34 years old. But Damian Lillard is now waived. He is free to go to whatever team he wants. What team? We don't know. Rumors, Mark J. Spears said the Warriors have been in contact with him. The guys down in Miami are going to be looking out for him. So when he signs with the team, we don't know. He's going to be going to rehab for the entire season. But we'll see where he ends up. The point is that this was a very desperate move for the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis is 30. Giannis is trying to win now. When you have a player like of Giannis's caliber, you have to do everything in your absolute power to try to put the right pieces around them, correct pieces around him. And with Damian Lillard, let's just be honest, because a lot of media on ESPN and other media outlets, they don't really talk about the Damian Lillard trade anymore. But this Damian Lillard trade was just an absolute bust for them. It just didn't work. The Damian Lillard trade did not work. It was not a good trade for them. You would think when getting Damian Lillard, the pick and roll chemistry between Dame and the Greek Freak was going to be just like crazy and deadly. They were going to have like a top 5 offense if you have enough guys around them, and that never materialized. Damian Lillard was hurt last season. Giannis was also hurt last season in the playoffs. Dame ended up being hurt. Now this season, Dame had a better regular season, but ultimately the team around them the both of them wasn't good enough, and you end up with Damian Lillard having a deep vein thrombosis in his calf, coming back earlier than you would think. He ends up tearing his Achilles, unfortunately, and now if you're the Bucks, you're looking at it like, man, we need to do something so Giannis does not leave. We need to do something so our star player doesn't ask out. We don't have any other avenues. They don't have a lot of draft capital. Even the draft picks that they do make aren't even that great. Where's Marshawn Beauchamp? They had Dante DiVincenzo. They just let him go. They don't really have much. And so they desperately just decided to waive him. Now they have $22 million. That's like just a dead cap hit. But I get it though. I get it. I don't know if I agree with it, but I do get it just from the fact that they're just desperate at this point. Like the Milwaukee Bucks are absolutely desperate. And it's not like any of their other moves were necessarily great either. We'll get into the Miles Turner deal, of course, but they lose Brook Lopez to the Los Angeles Clippers, 2 year, $18 million, which I think is actually a good for the Clippers. Just get a backup center, Brook Lopez. I think that's a pretty good deal. But most of these guys are just fringe moves. You get Kevin Porter Jr. is re-signing 2 year, $11 million. Taurean Prince is re-signing 2 years, $7 million. Bobby Portis 3 years, $44 million. Gary Harris is on a 2 year deal. Gary Trent is also on a 2 year deal, $7.5 million. They traded Pat Connaughton to Charlotte for Vasily Micic, and they also sent Charlotte 2 second-round picks, 2031, 2032. Like, they haven't done much, but Mason's basically just been running it back with the same group of guys. Miles Turner, of course, they had to waive and stretch Damian Lillard to fit Miles Turner into their cap. 4 year, 107. I like that deal for them. I think Miles Turner showed that he's a good player. This hurts Indiana, but Miles Turner basically replaces Brook Lopez. He's way younger than Brook Lopez. Way more athletic than Brook Lopez. I wouldn't say he's as elite of a shot blocker as he was when he first came into the league, but you saw how, like, over the past couple seasons, how good he was with Tyrese Halliburton. You could say Tyrese Halliburton enhanced the way he plays, which I think is, it's true. Point guards do tend to do that. Chris Paul has done that with many of his big men, and I think Tyrese Halliburton has done that too. But he's a solid center, shoot the three, finish over mismatches a bit better than he did earlier in his career. He's not a great shot blocker again, but still, this playoffs he was pretty decent defensively. And you have that next to Giannis. It could be good. It's a 4 year deal. It's not a lot of money that you're giving to Miles Turner. I like the move. But at the end of the day, the Milwaukee Bucks, I don't see how they can. I'm not gonna say they're not gonna make the playoffs, because the East is essentially no Dame. Obviously not a team no more, but no Dame, no Tyrese, no Jason Tatum. Boston Celtics just made a bunch of trades. They look like I think the Boston Celtics are gonna tank. Just a quick side note. I think the Boston Celtics are going to tank. I think they're going to keep Jaylen Brown and Derek White. Those two are going to do what they do, but then you're going to have Anthony Simons and Georges Niang, and they basically don't have a starting center because Al Horford might leave. The Lakers are going after him. The Golden State Warriors are going after him. Like, I don't know, man. Boston Celtics, they might be bad too. Like, even worse without Jason Tatum. Like, you thought, of course, maybe they were this 2 seed. Maybe they'd be like the 7th, 8th seed if they bring most of their guys back. But nah, they trading everybody. I don't even know who their starting lineup is gonna be. End of the day though for the Milwaukee Bucks was this Dame waiving, which I didn't see coming. I'll be completely honest. I didn't think that they would go to that drastic of a measure to get rid of Dame, but they did it. We'll see. Like this hurts them just financially because, again, $22 million of dead money on their books. But how can they replace him? I don't know how. None of these guys are worth. I don't think any of these guys are looking, or teams are going to be looking at them and thinking, oh, we really like those guys. I mean, Gary Trent is a good player. Bobby Portis is a good player, but Taurean Prince, Kevin Porter Jr., Gary Harris, I don't think people are going to be looking at those guys. But now the question is going to be on Giannis. All the spotlight is going to be on Giannis. Is Giannis going to ask for a trade? As of right now, of course, there is no noise in terms of him trading. I know Chris Haynes said that he wasn't that Giannis Antetokounmpo wasn't necessarily fond of the deal. But again, there is no trade request right now. I'm expecting Giannis to be on the team. Will he be on the team in February? Who knows? But that's the Milwaukee Bucks. The next team we're gonna talk about are probably, I would argue they might be the biggest winners of today, or I guess for you guys yesterday, and it's the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets trade for Cam Johnson, who was in Brooklyn just rotting away, because when you go to Brooklyn, that's what you do. But trading for Cam Johnson, sending Michael Porter Jr., a 2032 first-round unprotected pick. I think that's a slam dunk, if I'm being honest. I know the 2032 first-round unprotection on the pick is crazy, but when you have Jokic right now and you have a pick that's gonna be valuable in 7 years, like, who cares? Who cares? You have Jokic right now in the midst of his prime. He's the best player on the planet. Like, just go for it. You committed to him. He's obviously going to be eligible for an extension at some point within the next year or so. He might be extension eligible now, actually, if I remember correctly. But you commit to him. You're committed to Jamal Murray last summer. Obviously, Aaron Gordon is like the perfect glue guy in between those guys. Christian Brown has shown he's a exceptional player. He took a really big leap last season. The Nuggets go from a team that just had like Dario Saric, who literally didn't do a single thing all last season. Russell Westbrook, who at times was good, but the Russell Westbrook experience is like this. He does a lot of good, then he also can do a lot of bad. He declined his option. He's a free agent now, and you replace them, and you replace guys like those, Dario Saric and Russell Westbrook, with Tim Hardaway Jr., who they got on a 1-year deal. Bruce Brown, who they got on a 1-year deal. Okay, they need a backup center. Okay, let's go trade for Valanciunas. Let's send Dario Saric over there. Valanciunas comes to us. The fact that they revamped their roster in this way without, necessarily spending too much or trading too much draft capital, like, if you're Jokic, you're looking at the Denver Nuggets and you're giving them an absolute standing ovation. You're coming into the office when they offer you that extension. You're giving everybody hugs. You're buying everybody Rolexes or whatever NBA players do. But this was an absolute slam dunk of a free agency day, one day for the Denver Nuggets. Michael Porter Jr., as good as he is, as well as he fit around Jokic because he's a 6'10 movement shooter. Cam Johnson, he isn't as good of a shooter, but he can just do a little bit more. I think he fits more. I think he can drive more. He could shoot the three well. He could shoot the three well too. Of course, not as well as Michael Porter Jr., but he's a better defender than Michael Porter Jr. I wouldn't say he's not elite. He's not OG Anunoby. He's not Lou Dort. He's not one of those. But I think he fits. He's gonna fit so well. He's a high IQ guy. I think he can fit well to next to Jokic as a movement shooter, as a guy who can cut to the basket, as a guy who can defend multiple positions. Again, Tim Hardaway Jr. They need shooting. They're a team that attempted, I believe, the least amount of threes last season. Tim Hardaway Jr. shoots threes. Bruce Brown, who they didn't re-sign, he comes back. He was great for them, and that was honestly the last time we saw a really, really good Bruce Brown season. Like, he hasn't been the same Bruce Brown since. I know a lot of it has been because of injury, but it didn't work out in Indiana. He was part of the Pascal Siakam trade. He didn't do nothing there. Then he got traded to the New Orleans Pelicans. He didn't do nothing there. Maybe this return to Denver can have Bruce Brown return to the player that he was, the important role player that he was for the Denver when they won the championship in 2023. Absolute slam dunk home run for the Denver Nuggets. Moving on to the Houston Rockets. They're our third team that we're going to discuss. The Houston Rockets signed Dorian Finney-Smith to a 4-year, $53 million deal. Dorian Finney-Smith declined his option in LA. It seemed like the negotiations weren't going well, so the Houston Rockets are like, hey, listen, we got Kevin Durant, we're in win now mode, let's just get everybody. They get Dorian Finney-Smith, Clint Capella, 3-year, $21.5 million. I mean, they got centers on centers on centers. They re-signed Steven Adams. They got Alperen Sengun, of course. Then it was like, let's just get Clint Capella, because why not? Listen, it's better if we have Clint Capella if somebody else has Clint Capella. That's probably what they're thinking. Okay, sure. Then they also assigned Jabari Smith Jr. 5 years, $122 million extension. I know that seems like a lot, but that's what Naz Reid got $125 for 5 years. So that's going to be a little bit less than $25 million. I think that's great value for Jabari Smith Jr. I hope that he can do a little bit more, be a little bit more involved in the offense. I think he can shoot the crap out of the basketball. I think he has a lot of defensive upside. He was starting last season. Then he got injured. Amin Thompson broke out. Then he's been coming off the bench. Again, if I'm the Houston Rockets, I'm assuming he's going to be your starting 4 for this upcoming season. Of course, you can put Dorian Finney-Smith in there as well. He's been a good starting for many years now. But I assume Jabari Smith Jr. is going to be a starting four now. I know with Durant and Alperen Şengün in the front court, maybe he won't. I'm not saying he's going to average 20 points, but just can he get the ball more, get a lot more shot attempts, maybe attack closeouts a little bit more. I think there's a lot of upside there, and I think the Rockets probably believe it too, which is why they retained him. So two really good contract signings, one good extension signing for the Houston Rockets. They're just going for it. They're just absolutely going for it with the in this Kevin Durant era. They still no Kevin Durant extension numbers or talks or whatever. So I think that's the next sort of domino for the Houston Rockets. But they are set up to make a run at a championship for the next few seasons with Kevin Durant and all these free agency signings. So they did a wonderful job of putting good players around your young guys. They have a good mix of they had a good mix before the Kevin Durant trade of veteran and young players, but even adding more veterans who can help, like Clint Capella, or retaining Steven Adams, Dorian Finney-Smith can help. Like, you can't really complain about anything the Houston Rockets have done. They've been absolutely excellent. The Hawks. What does Zach Lowe like to do? Caw. That's Zach Lowe things when the Hawks come up. But the Atlanta Hawks, another really big winner for this free agency. Luke Kennard, a 1-year, $11 million deal. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 4-year, $62 million deal. For me personally, Nickeil Alexander-Walker was a player I was looking like. I was like, who's gonna get this guy? The Minnesota Timberwolves could not pay him. He was going to leave. What team was going to offer him good money? What team was going to be aggressive to go after him? And the Atlanta Hawks are looking at the Eastern Conference. They're looking at all these guys are injured. They're looking at Cleveland Cavaliers. And listen, the Cleveland Cavaliers were the number 1 seed, but they got smacked in the second round. I don't think they're a scary number 1 seed like how the Oklahoma City Thunder were or the Warriors were. Like, they're just not that scary of a team, I think, to other Eastern Conference opponents. The Knicks, I don't think people are scared of the Knicks. And after that, it's anybody's game. And the Hawks are looking at this season, are like, listen, Trae Young is our guy. Jalen Johnson is good. He missed half the season with a torn labrum. He's gonna come back. We saw some good stuff from Zachary Reese-Shea, especially in the 2025 calendar year of the season. Onyeka Okongwu really took leaps offensively and has shown stuff defensively. Dyson Daniels was top 3 in defensive player of the year voting. Like, there's a good team in here, man. From the Porzingis deal to getting off like Georges Niang and Nickeil, not Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Terrence Mann, to turn those guys into Luke Kennard, movement shooter. Nickeil Alexander-Walker turned into a good 3-point shooter and one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. Like, listen, you need a defensive stop? Well, come on in, Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Onyeka Okongwu, Jalen Johnson, and Dyson Daniels, and whoever the 5th guy is. Like, they have now a defensive identity around Trae Young. You know, Trae Young is limited by his size. He's not a good defender at all. But you put Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Jalen Johnson, Okongwu, a healthy Porzingis. Like, this team looks like it's gonna be really good. Finally, maybe the Atlanta Hawks won't be a play-in team. Maybe they won't. I don't know. We have to see. Hopefully they have healthy luck on their side. But I really like what the Hawks are doing. I think there's a decent two-way team in here. I don't know if they're gonna be like 14th in defense or 18th in defense or 10th in defense. Like, I don't know. But there's always been, this team has always been good offensively because of how good Trae Young is. Now they needed to add defensive players around him, guys who can handle the ball a little bit. They thought that was that in DeJounte Murray. That turned out to be a horrible trade, but they got out of that and got Dyson Daniels, and now have added other 3-and-D kind of guys, and Now the Hawks are looking like a threat. I don't mean a threat like they're going to the finals. Let me stop you right there. I'm not saying the Atlanta Hawks are going to the finals. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that could they be in a weaker Eastern Conference? Could they be the 4 seed? Could it be the 5 seed? Just I look at them as a team that's not going to be in the playing tournament anymore. I think that's the biggest thing because they've been perpetually in the playing tournament, but now they have a team that can be able to play both sides of the floor. They might be able to score a little bit more when Trae Young is on the off the bench because when he's on the court again, one man offense, top 10 offense by himself. Now you have a bunch of good role players around him. You're looking at the Indiana Pacers team and you look at how they built their team, and I think other teams are going to try to copy that. They're putting you have your star and Trae Young. You have a guy who I think can be an all-star in Jalen Johnson, and you just have a bunch of high-level role players around them. Hopefully you guys can be a good two-way team, and you see where it goes from there. Shout out to the Hawks. They've done a wonderful job. I had nothing to complain about really. Moving on, our last team before we get to the miscellaneous people. That's what I'm calling them on my note card. I got miscellaneous. You guys can't really see, but yeah. The Memphis Grizzlies. I don't look at them as a winner. Not saying they're a loser, but I don't look at them as a winner per se. But they did do a lot of stuff. Jaren Jackson Jr., who was their biggest priority in this offseason, a 5-year max $240 million deal. He was their number one priority. To keep him under contract, he's 25, plays both sides of the floor, has really, I think the last 2 seasons, I feel like he's been really, really stepped up his offensive game. He's become a lot more versatile on that side of the floor, and of course the defense speaks for itself. He's a great shot blocker, terrible rebounder. That's my drawback, but whatever. We're trying to be happy here. We're trying to be happy. But keeping JJJ was extremely, extremely important for them, and they were able to do that. They were also able to re-sign Santi Aldama for a 3-year, $52 million deal. He's a solid role player. I think a lot of teams wanted him because he has shown some good stuff the past few seasons. He's gotten better and better and better. He's attacking closeouts. He shoots the three. He's long. He's 6'10", 6'11". Has a little bit of athleticism sneakily. I think that's a fine number for them to retain him at. Also, getting Ty Jerome, Cleveland couldn't retain him. 3-year, $28 million deal. Again, completely fine for Ty Jerome. He showed, even in the playoffs, when he was horrible, he's shown throughout the regular season that he can be someone you can rely on for some offense, for some pick and roll handling and whatnot. Memphis pivoted from Desmond Bane, got a lot of draft capital for it. Now it's okay, is this team are they taking a mini step back? Which is crazy because they were the 8th seed. They kind of already stepped back. But now are they looking to be the 4 seed, the 3 seed? Are they looking to contend right now? Do they think that they can contend right now? I'm not sure. If you look at their starting lineup, the starting lineup would be John Morant, KCP, and Desmond Bane's spot. Who's gonna play the 3? Jalen Wells, I guess. He had a solid rookie season. Then you have Jaren Jackson Jr. at the 4, Zach Edey at the 5, a bench of who was Cedric Howard? Cedric Howard? I'm sorry, I forgot. But the draft pick that they traded up for, Gigi Jackson, Vince Williams, Brandon Clark, who would he tear his Achilles? They got some solid guys. I don't know if that's solid enough to be a top 4, top 5 seed in the Western Conference, but after Oklahoma City, looking at what Denver and Houston did, I would say they're firmly behind those 3 teams. The 4, 5, 6 seeds, they're up for grabs, I would say. So maybe they look at that situation and are hey, listen, we still believe in John Morant. We obviously believe in Jaren Jackson Jr. We believe we have solid role players. Maybe we can make a run at this thing. and be more dangerous than we thought. We have a new coach, so this is going to be a fresh sort of revamped version of what the Memphis Grizzlies have been in the previous years, and I think I'm more excited to watch them now than I've probably been the last couple seasons. But obviously this all ties into, can Ja Morant be who he was in the 2021-2022 season, where he was second team All NBA, All Star, top 15, top 10 guy. Like, if he can be that, then they have a higher ceiling. But that's all a big what if. They need to be a little bit lucky with the injury problems. They've been a little bit unlucky, but it rides on Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. being the two stars that I think Memphis thinks that they are/can be. Miscellaneous things. Where's my miscellaneous note card? Okay, miscellaneous things. These are just a bunch of small moves that I wanted to at least say, but I'm not necessarily gonna take my time on. Let's see. I mean, there's a bunch all over the place. Trey Mann, 3-year, $24 million to stay with the Charlotte Hornets. I thought he had a fine season. I know he missed a big chunk of the season, but in the beginning of the season, he was dunking on people. He was crossing people over. He got some skill. $8 million a year, completely fine. Guys, you can't tell because, the power of editing, but I had to pause a little bit because my camera got too hot, so it needs to cool down, so it just shuts off automatically. But we're back. Just gonna quickly again go through all the miscellaneous things, signings/trades that have happened in the past couple days, or mostly today. We said Trey Mann, 3 years, 24. I think that's a fine deal. I actually think he's a fine player. Duncan Robinson was more of the bigger ones. Declined his $20 million partially guaranteed contract from the Miami Heat. Gets a 3-year, $48 million deal to go to Detroit in a sign and trade that he gets Simone Fontecchio back. I think that's a great deal for Duncan Robinson. Malik Beasley was actually supposed to get this, but Malik Beasley is actually a war criminal, so unfortunately he can't get that 3-year, $48 million deal. So they pivot to Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson is one of the best shooters in the NBA. He has been for the last several seasons. I think he fits very, very well around Cade. Cade is a great passer. I think he can get a lot of open shots. I don't know if Duncan can play without Cade. Like, I like Duncan with Cade. Like, when I'm thinking how well and he can be effective for the Detroit Pistons, I'm thinking about him being able to get shots off with like Jalen Duren screening for him and whatnot, and maybe Isaiah Stewart also screening for him to get open threes. But I like the move in general, especially since they also lost Tim Hardaway Jr. to the Denver Nuggets. Getting a shooter, really, really important for them. Karis LeVert also comes to Detroit, 2-year, $29 million. He was fantastic last season for Cleveland and Atlanta. He's a good scorer off the bench. I think that's a fine deal for them. Sacramento, obviously getting Dario Saric. Why did they get him? I don't know. But Drew Eubanks, whatever. But they also did get Dennis Schroeder, 3-year, $45 million deal. They needed a point guard. If only the Sacramento Kings had a point guard like Tyrese Halliburton or something, or maybe if they had De'Aaron Fox, or maybe even like a role player, like a backup point guard, like, I don't know, Davion Mitchell. Man, if they had those guys on their team, Sacramento would be in really good shape. Too bad they like never had those guys on the team or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But they get Dennis Schroeder instead. He's a fine player. He's a fine player. I thought he was really good for Detroit last season. I would have liked for Detroit to keep him, but he gets 15 a year from Sacramento. Can't fault either side for the deal. You got some extensions here. We'll leave the extensions for last. Gershon Yabusele, who had a nice comeback season for the what's their name? The Philadelphia 76ers, goes to the New York Knicks for a 2-year, $12 million deal. Tough, defends multiple positions, sneakily athletic, even though he's a bigger guy. if he can shoot the three ball well, I think this is like a slam dunk, like depth piece. There, Tom Thibodeau isn't the coach anymore. Reported by Mark Stein that Mike Brown is getting a second interview, so he's like the leading candidate for the head coaching job. He's like, you're assuming that the next coach of the New York Knicks is gonna go deeper into his bench, unlike Tom Thibodeau. So Gershon Yabusele, good role player for the in their front court. Jordan them is going to be Jordan Clarkson from the Utah Jazz. Did he get waived or he get brought out? I should be having these things. I'm so sorry, guys. But either way, once he clears waivers, I want to say he got waived. Once he clear waivers, the New York Knicks will be able to sign him, which I think, again, good microwave scorer off the bench. Can he have games where he's like 4-14? Yes, but can he have games where he has 20 points and like 8 assists? Absolutely. I think that's just a fine guy just to add some depth to the team. You got like Tyus Jones. I love this deal for Orlando. Tyus Jones, 1 year, $7 million deal. Like, I'm so glad that they got a point guard who can shoot the three decently, but is so good at passing, does not turn the ball over, can run pick and roll, can run some efficient offensive plays. Thank you, Orlando Magic front office. This is a good deal. They didn't have Cole Anthony, but Cole Anthony wasn't like your pure traditional point guard. Tyus Jones is more of that. He's more of a guy that'll get you 10 points, 12 points, but will get you 9 assists and like 0 turnovers. Like, that's something that's extremely needed for them. And to get him cheap, $7 million deal without Cole Anthony on the roster, you get him. I like that. I like that very, very much for the Orlando Magic. They haven't done a lot of moves, but getting Desmond Bane, 2 really good moves for a team that I think should be a lot better this year, barring injury, of course. Luke Kennard. No, not Luke Kennard. What's his name? Luke Cornett, not Luke Kennard. 4-year, $41 million deal to the San Antonio Spurs. I really like that for them. He's not like a 25, 30-minute a game guy, but can you give you 15, 20 minutes of solid play? He was really good for the Boston Celtics last year. Guy will randomly have a game where he has like 7 blocks and finish around the basket, can catch lobs a little bit better than you might think when you look at him. Solid deal. They have a lot of length, obviously, with Victor Wembanyama already on the roster, but now you have a good backup center for him. I like that. Kevon Looney, Warriors role player extraordinaire, leaves the team after, I want to say, 10 seasons, 2 years, $16 million deal for the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm assuming that Looney couldn't get an $8 million deal from the Warriors, so instead he pivots from them and goes to the Pelicans. Fine depth piece. Obviously, we all know who Kevon Looney is. Jake LaRavia, 2-year, $12 million deal for the Lakers. I like that. They lose Dorian Finney-Smith. They wasn't going to pay him the money that he probably wanted. Jake LaRavia is a fine player. Shoots the three, can guard more than one type of position. I think that's fine. Just adding some role player depth, I think is okay. James Harden opted out of his player option, but then re-signs for a 2-year, $81.5 million deal. I think that is a fine deal for Harden, coming off a season where I believe he made third team All-NBA and was an All-Star. I thought he was very impressive, holding down the fort while Kawhi Leonard gets ready throughout the season from his knee injury. And then with that, he took a pay cut. With that pay cut, they ended up getting Nick Batum on a 2-year, $11.5 million deal. Also, obviously getting Brook Lopez, just fortifying that front court. I think those are all fine deals for the Los Angeles Clippers. Just like fringe moves, but like really good, important moves for the Los Angeles Clippers, who I guess they're gonna try to make a run for it again in this really tough Western Conference. D'Angelo Russell, 2-year, $13 million deal for Dallas. I believe there's a player option. I didn't write player options. I'm sorry. I should have for a lot of these deals. But I believe D'Angelo Russell has a player option for the second season. They need a point guard. Kyrie's going to be rehabbing from his ACL injury. This is essentially a 1+1 deal. I just look at this deal and like, okay, he's just going to be a substitute. So I don't think he's someone who I'll see on a team in like 2 years. because defense wins championships. Remember Nico Harrison? I don't think getting D'Angelo Russell is defense wins championship kind of move. They already kind of thin at the guard spot. Like, I don't think they have elite guard perimeter defenders, and D'Angelo Russell most certainly is not helping you with that. But he can score, he can run pick and roll, and he has played with Anthony Davis before. He can throw you a lob or two. Whatever. I guess that's better than nothing. Yeah, that's all the miscellaneous things I have. A few extensions before we go. SGA, 4-year, $285 million extension. The most annual money ever in NBA history. He will be earning $71 million a year. Mind blown. $71 million is crazy. But coming off a season where MVP almost shot 50, 40, 90, championship, finals MVP. Some people might argue he's the best player in the world now. I personally won't. I still think it's Nikola Jokic, but it's definitely a conversation now. Obviously, this is something that they had to do. Extensions should be. I think J-Dub and Chet are both eligible for extensions too. I wonder what their number is going to be, because in 4 years or 2, 3, 4 years, because of the way the CBA is structured, like, how expensive will this team get is something I'm looking forward to seeing down the line, because the CBA might prevent teams from keeping championship rosters or championship cores together, which is, for me, not a great thing, because you want to see these three young guys in Chet, SGA, and J-Dub be able to play together for as long as possible. But I just think there's a possibility that those three guys might be so expensive that, like, maybe down the line they won't be able to keep them, which would suck. Like, I don't want that. I want these guys to be able to stay together. You know what I'm saying? But W extension, he deserves it. I have nothing for that. Jakob Poeltl. Where's Jakob Poeltl? Oh, is he on the front page? Yes, he is. Jakob Poeltl, 4-year, $104 million extension for Toronto. I don't know what Toronto's obsession with Jakob Poeltl is. Why do they love him so much? I mean, the value is fine. Like, he's a really good starting center. He finishes very well. I think he has good touch around the basket. Not a bad rebounder. Defensively, he's okay. But it's just like, you guys aren't going to be good. But, you know, it's a tradable contract. 4 years for 104 isn't bad. That's $20-something million. Like, that's a very movable contract. But it's whatever. If they're a team that's trying to compete, then you keep him. He'll be important for you. But if you're someone down the road, the Lakers or something, hey, listen, you want Jakob Poeltl? Try to go get Jakob Poeltl. As of right now, the Los Angeles Lakers do not have a center. Unless they're gonna try to go after Al Horford. Sure. Miles Turner was like the biggest center on the market. He's gone. DeAndre Ayton got brought out. So could DeAndre Ayton come? Sure, but seeing DeAndre Ayton play basketball, he's just not scaring nobody. Like, DeAndre Ayton, really good playoff run in 2021, had upside, but, like, bro, he isn't physical enough. He isn't defensively that great. He'll give you 20, 15 at times. He'll look really, really good, but I don't know if you're breaking the bank, if you're breaking your back trying to get that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think teams are looking at, like, DeAndre and Miles Turner. Like, we'd rather have Miles Turner. We'd rather have a 3,500-year-old Brook Lopez. Like, that says something. But whatever. The point is, Jakob Poeltl got a deal, and I think the deal is movable. So if you're a team that needs a center, call Toronto. If Toronto is looking to tank, I don't think they're good, so that's why I'm just putting it out there. But that's it for my miscellaneous card. We went through 5 teams, talked about them. This is just the first day of free agency. There are some free agents on the board still. DeAnthony Melton. I don't know what teams think of D'Anthony Melton because he partially tore his ACL, but when he was with the Warriors, he was playing fantastic. So maybe the Warriors double back, try to get him. Who knows? First day of free agency started off very, very well with a bang. A lot of teams making very, very good moves, very, very good signings, a couple nice trades. When day 2 of free agency, we'll see what the NBA has more in store for us. A lot of storylines when it comes to LeBron or Giannis is going to last for a while. What Josh Giddey, Jonathan Kuminga, what are those guys going to get in restricted free agency? Cam Thomas as well is a restricted free agent. He's also up for an extension. All of that stuff is, will it get resolved tomorrow? Who knows? But when you come to the MC show, I will cover that for you. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching / listening. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any and all help is greatly, greatly appreciated. Of course, podcast coming soon, so you can listen to me while you clean. You can listen to me while you're driving to work. You're listening to me while you sit down and pop open a cold one. Either way, all of that will be coming soon. But thank you guys for the support and the love. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.